My history with this theory development and everything that's happened to me over the years can be summed up with two things, actually, or one thing. My fascination as a child, as a 9-10-year-old child, with this corundum, sapphires, rubies, okay? This stuff is what got me going as a child. This is what I dreamed about. I literally had a dream when I was 10 years old of being in a large room completely swimming in gemstones the size of cantaloupes. I dreamed about this stuff as a child. Can you imagine having all those gemstones just swimming in a big... I mean, you wouldn't be swimming in it because they're rocks, you know, you could stand on top of all of them, but just to think, like, Scrooge McDuck with his giant silos full of gold coins. I dreamed about myself being in the middle of a large room full of sapphires and rubies. Now, I say this because that's what got me started. I mean, then I was like, sapphires and rubies are so beautiful. I mean, they're so amazing. They're so expensive, and I want all of them, you know? I want all of them to be mine. And then I started to branch out because I realized these sapphires and rubies, okay, you have your crystals and your polished gemstones up here. They're not the only gemstones. And then I think what I branched off after that into beryl, which is, you know, aquamarine and emeralds. And then I was like, beryl, emeralds, you know, those are freaking awesome too, you know? Like, and then I finally branched off into diamonds. Diamonds went first. It was sapphires and rubies and corundum. And then I branched off into elements, like platinum, like that giant platinum nugget. Then you had, you know, gold. Gold was really cool. But I was more interested in, like, the crystals. And one of my favorite crystals as a child was definitely amethyst. Purple, beautiful, just this fantastic gemstone. It's really common. You can buy it in almost any rock or mineral store. I mean, you know, like fossil stores or those discovery stores. They always had amethyst lying around, you know. And as a child, I was so fascinated from it because it's a part of the earth. Like, it was growing from the earth. Like, it was a piece of the earth itself. And even my grandfather told me, he said, "You're going to be a rock hound when you get older." He was predicting that I would be like a rock hound, which is somebody who goes looking for these things. How crazy is that? But I guess I still go looking for them. I enjoy them a lot. And I would have never predicted that I would make a discovery like what I discovered 3.5 years ago. The fact that this thing that we're standing on is an ancient star. And then I went straight back to my childhood again. I was like, oh my God. Rocks and minerals are pieces of an ancient star. They're all varying in composition, in crystalline structure, and density, and the way they behave when you pick them up, when you squeeze your fingers against them, or they're different hardness too. Like, you can't scratch corundum with a knife. And you also can't scratch rubies and sapphires with glass. You can't scratch, they're too hard. They're like a 9, and then diamonds are a 10. And just realizing that all these, this is from a rock and gem book I borrowed from the library, that all these objects are what happens to a star on its surface. And a point I wanted to remind myself of for future reference is, since the water on the earth was a lot more abundant, I think a lot of the pressure and water facilitated a lot of these gemstone formations. The entire surface of the earth was covered in very deep oceans when it was still cooling, so I believe water had a large part of that. But anyways, I just wanted to show people that book. It's a Smithsonian book. Has lots of good minerals in here, and it describes a lot of things. I like it a lot. I like looking at pictures of this stuff. If you pay attention to it, the way the crystals grow, you can discover a lot about a star by studying this stuff. And I know all my listeners, they might be surprised what they'll discover themselves if they just look at the earth. Like, nice, it's like granite, and then you have slate, schist, marble. All these rocks, minerals, and gemstones can be studied, like the way they grow. Look at those different angles on those gemstones. Study this stuff. Look at this stuff. You'll discover a whole lot about a star's evolutionary path by looking at how these minerals form. And you might make a discovery of your own that I never would have thought of. But, you know, it's up to you. If you want to think outside the box, look at stuff like that. Don't pay attention to the popular magazine stuff like black holes and Big Bang. Don't even bother with that. It's a waste of time. Look at actual things you can pick up in your hands, that you can observe. Alright, I think today is April 8th, 2015.